got the meal plan on the fridge, the school bags packed the night before, the workout scheduled before anyone else is up. And you still end most days feeling like you're one email or one meltdown away from unraveling. The mornings are always still rushed and bedtime is a struggle when all you want is to be present for it. If that's familiar, stay with me because I want to talk about why that keeps happening even when you're doing everything supposedly right. Hello and welcome back to the Body for Minds podcast. Before I get into it, I want to say clearly what I just described isn't down to how well or badly you're organizing or even optimizing your life. Most of us are operating inside a system that was never built to hold what we are carrying, professionally, at home, and everywhere in between. And nobody is coming to redesign that for us anytime soon, as frustrating as that is. So nothing I say today is about doing this better so that you deserve less exhaustion. It's about something I think more useful. And that is what actually gets easier once you know your own signals well enough to read them. As a certified process fix facilitator who spent years in organizational development and strategy, I love a good process, a plan that flows, a system that works. And as a mom of 3, all at very different ages with very different needs, I also know that agility matters just as much and that both of those, planning and adapting, cost energy. Considerable energy, and I probably don't even have to tell you that. So personally, I optimize a lot. My mornings are built the night before so they run smoothly or as smoothly as possible. Journeys on well-known subway routes are optimized for fastest transfer and or exit. I've worked out nutrition and workouts that fuel rather than deplete me. But there's plenty I don't optimize that other mums swear by. For example, meal planning. And I don't do it because I like the flexibility of cooking whatever we're in the mood for. What I do instead is I pre-cook a starchy base like potato, rice, pasta, so that the next morning I can build lunches around those bases fast. And this doesn't only optimize for efficiency, it also optimizes for nutritional value as it happens, because cooled and reheated starch partly becomes resistant starch, which is good for the microbiome and also lowers the glycemic index. So there's that side benefit too. And on top of that, everyone gets to combine their own plate, which makes my life easier since my middle one is also a vegetarian. Then another thing is where others have got spreadsheets for everything, I don't have a single one, and my to-do list is minimalist as well. I might change this in the future, but for now it works for me well, and I don't see myself adding the tasks of maintaining a spreadsheet when I simply don't need it personally at the moment, right? But I want to be very clear here. I'm not saying ditch your meal planning or your spreadsheet. It's absolutely not that my way is better than the other. It's that I know from paying attention to myself and my family that flexibility is what actually works for us when it comes to meals. And someone else paying the same kind of attention to their own family might land on a completely different answer and be just as right. So what's optimal isn't universal. I think that's an important takeaway already. But it also brings me to what I actually want to argue this week. When we're not attuned, when our attention has been pointed outward for so long at everyone else's needs and everyone else's expectations that we've lost the threads on our own. We don't just miss out on some nice self-care. We lose access to a very specific kind of information. What's actually working? What's draining more than it's worth? What we're only still doing because we've always done it or because our mother did it or because stopping feels like it would let someone down. Without that information, we default to controlling what we can see and measure because it's the one lever that still feels like ours. And that's often not irrational. Sometimes control genuinely is the only reliable lever you've got because the support around you isn't. But sometimes it's also compensating for something else. Not knowing with any real clarity what you need. And control that's compensating for that tends to add weight rather than take it off. There's a nervous system piece to this too, and it's a fairly simple one. A body that's tense, that's had its signals ignored for long enough, keeps sending them anyway. It just gets quieter or shows up like in a different way, more indirectly, as irritability, as the 9 p.m. wall, as reaching for the scroll instead of the sleep. When you're that disconnected from your own signals, you're also, I'd argue, slower to pick up your children's. Not because you don't love them enough or aren't paying attention hard enough, you're paying attention a huge amount, but because reading someone else well starts with the same muscle as reading yourself well, and that muscle's been dimmed, if not switched off for you for a while. So let me pull that together into a few clear points, because I've covered a fair bit today. Firstly, what's optimal isn't universal. There's no single right way to run your mornings, your meals, your life. And secondly, what works brilliantly for someone else doesn't have to work for you. Someone else's spreadsheet, someone else's routine, it's theirs, not a standard you are failing to meet. Thirdly, exerting as much control as you possibly can is going to cost you more energy than it saves you, unless you're also tuning into yourself. Control without that check-in becomes its own drain. Number 4, to actually know what's working for you and what's quietly draining you, you have to tune into yourself. There's no shortcut to that information. No app, no system, no other mom's advice can hand it to you. Fifthly, that same attunement to yourself is very likely to improve your attunement to other people too, including your kids. It's the same muscle. And lastly, once you start prioritizing and yes, even optimizing in a way that includes your own needs and wants, life has room to flow more. Not perfectly, but more. So the real lever in all of this isn't optimizing harder. It's building that muscle of noticing your own signals in the first place. What's tight, what's full, what's costing more than it's giving you. That's exactly what the 15-minute mental load reset is for. It's not a to-do list, and it's not one more system to maintain. It's 15 minutes that walks you through noticing what your body's already telling you and using that to find one thing you can let go of this week. It's today's 6 points in practice, if you like, with nothing added to your plate. If you want to try it, I've linked it in the show notes. That's it from me for this episode. I hope you liked it, and if you did, please share it with another mom, rate or review the podcast. It helps spread the word and supports other moms who, like you, are careful with what they spend their time on. And of course, it would mean the world to me. Thank you for joining me today. More you, less noise.